unique couples community. Great to see you all. And welcome to another Unique Couple Sunday Night Live. I am your host for this evening, Linda Wright Patrick. And I am so excited about us being here. No matter what is happening, it's just this special time when I get to share, we get to share. Vito isn't here, like physically with me right now, but yes, when we get to share with you, and that's exciting. And today we're talking about how healthy are you? And I have a special guest with me today. You'll hear more about her later, soon, in a few. But how healthy are you? All of our live squatters, go ahead. You know what to do. If you're live with us, hashtag live squad. If you are catching the replay, hashtag replay. Join us, and share. Go ahead, let someone know that we are live and they need to be here to hear the conversation. So go ahead, subscribe to our Unique Couples YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and share to help. Okay, share to help because it's all about the healthy marriage movement. Marriages are here to stay, and we are going to be here with you along the journey of making sure you have a healthy marriage. And so today, we're talking about how healthy are you? How healthy are you? Those of you who are single, you're engaged, you're married, and even those of you who are divorced. How healthy are you? And we're not just talking about how healthy you are in terms of um, relationship. We're also talking about how healthy you are physically. So, in all areas, how healthy are you mentally? How healthy are you physically? How healthy are you in your relationships? And we know that this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so, ladies, we want to make sure, men too, definitely, that we are keeping and staying healthy and doing what we can. So, I have with me Michele, all the way from Illinois, and she is coming on and sharing with us. So, I want you guys to make her feel welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Michele. Great to see you.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. I am doing great today. It's nice to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So we're talking about how healthy are you, and I know our viewers are like, what does this have to do, and how does this relate to you? So, PhD in physical therapy, 4 kids. Correct me if I'm wrong. Military wife. Um, all of these different things happen. Married for 16 years. Tell us, who is Michele? Let us know about you.
Yeah. So I have my doctorate in physical therapy and I do online personal training and health coaching for people who really put themselves on the back burner, but they're really to get ready to get healthy in a way that's sustainable and feels good without dieting and with keeping it simple. Because as you said, I have 4 kids and I don't have a lot of time. So I have to keep things simple for myself, for me to be able to maintain that. So I love sharing that with other people. And like you said, my husband is in the military and we have been married for 16 years.
Awesome, awesome. So, how do you do it with your kids? Are they homeschool, out to school? How do you make all of
Yeah.
that work?
Yeah, so we homeschool them for 6 years, but this school year we decided to put our 3 youngest in school.
Mhm.
And that has worked well. And that's just allowed me a little more time to work on my business and to keep my sanity. It was just getting stressful and it was a lot. So our oldest, we still homeschool. Um, so yeah, I try to keep things really simple and also have systems in place so it makes things easier, like with meal planning, just having a system in place to make it easy so we don't have to think about that. Um, so that helps a lot.
Wow. So, kids, in terms of kids, what are we looking at in terms of ages? You said the three youngest, right?
Yeah, so I have the 3 youngest are boys and they are 5, 10, and 11. And my oldest is 15 and she's a girl.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so you moms out there, I know, I know. I have 3 kids of my own, and the last one is like having 50, but but it could be a little stressful, and all consuming and all that all
Yeah.
at once. It could be. it could be all of that at once. And we just have to learn to make time for ourselves in the space of all of that, still be the great moms, parents that we need to be, and still take care of ourselves. So, how healthy are you as it relates to relationships? Remember, go ahead and put your questions in the chat. For those of you who are watching us live, go ahead and put your questions or comments in the chat as we go, and hopefully, we'll be able to respond to your questions as we talk today. So, Michele, how important is health to you? How important is health to you?
Yeah, obviously, with my line of work, I think it's pretty important. But I think it's one of those things, as you were saying, when I had 3 kids, I really struggled to take care of myself because there was so much going on. My kids were so little that they had these immediate needs, and it seemed like I could like not work out. I didn't have to worry about eating healthy, but it sort of catches up with you after a while. Sometimes with health, we don't see those negative effects right away. We can eat ice cream, bag of chips. We can eat bad for weeks or even years and not see that negative consequence. So sometimes that catches up to us. So I think, especially as a couple, like when you can encourage each other to eat healthier and you're bringing healthier foods into the house and you're making those choices to eat healthy a lot easier because it's right there and you don't have a ton of junk food in your house, it makes it easier. So, but I think, when we eat better and when we move our body, we just feel better and we can
Mhm.
interact better with our kids, with our spouses, and everything we do. And typically, we also have a little more energy, versus someone who might eat a lot of sugar or junk food. Those blood sugar drops and you're low on energy. And then you need coffee or more sugar to up it. But when you have more stable blood sugars and you eat healthy, then you sort of have more sustained energy over time.
Yeah, definitely. And the what I like about just exercising and getting your body and just getting all of that up, not only does it help your body physically, but it also helps you. I think, like you were mentioning, it also helps you um, mentally as well. It helps you emotionally with
Mhm.
all of that. So talk to us about the benefits of exercise and getting those endorphins in and helping with
Yeah.
the how you approach life. How does that help and would help women, and especially women who want to definitely be healthy and not have to worry about some of these diseases that we could prevent.
Yeah. So, talking more about the movement or exercise piece here, first of all, keep it simple. So, start with 5 or 10 minutes and sort of build up from there. And I also, when we talk about this, I want you to think 2 different categories. So, I want you to think the movement category, which is just walking, moving around, cleaning your house, walking at the grocery store. And we want to make sure we're doing that frequently throughout the day. So, that might be like your 10,000 steps. And then you also have exercise where you're getting your heart rate up and burning, your muscles are burning if you're doing strength training. So those are 2 different buckets. And each one, start small and work your way up because when you do that, you're going to feel those feel good endorphins. You're going to build up your strength and your bone strength, and you're going to get your blood pumping, and that's going to help your heart and
Mhm.
everything will work better in your body. And not only, we typically just feel better. So some people, when they're starting to exercise, it's really hard to get over that hump. Like, you don't want to do it, it's not your habit, it just sounds absolutely dreadful. But once
Mhm.
you get over that hump and you start doing it, you're going to crave it because your body is just going to start feeling better. So, and again, just keep it simple. Start really small. Start with 5 or 10 minutes. When I'm working with a new client that is a beginner and hasn't been exercising, I only start with 5 or 10 minutes because I want them to build up their strength without getting super sore. And each week we might add a little bit more, add another set to the exercise, but we're working it up slowly. That way they have the confidence as they're going, their body is feeling good and not super sore. So that can be a great way to start.
Awesome. Yes. And even as it relates to our relationships and what we do in terms of keeping um our relationships healthy, we have to remember to Sometimes it's just the small things, the little things that we do on a daily basis that will
Mm.
make the difference. Instead of thinking we need to do all of these elaborate things and then don't get anything else done after that. So we make
Mhm.
a big effort to do maybe a Valentine's Day, and then we don't show our spouse we love them or show any attention to them for the rest of the year. Okay, so it's kind of like that. So with the exercise, you're saying when you work with your clients, you make sure that they, start off small and kind of like build up to getting
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, it's just you're building a habit, and two, when it comes to your body, you don't wanna injure it, you don't wanna get super sore, so you gotta start slower, especially if you're a little bit older. Yeah, so you gotta keep it simple, and I think one great thing, weather dependent, as a couple, that's nice to do is after dinner, going out for a walk together. Because not only can you have that time to talk, maybe your kids are with you, maybe they're not, but you're also getting that movement in, and especially moving after you eat can really help, your body with the blood sugar that's in your body and help you move that better. So, it's also a great metabolism boost, so going out for a walk together after you eat can be a great way to get that movement in.
Ooh, that sounds great. So what about keeping healthy in terms of a structured program? Like what would you say couples can or could do to include in their physical activity in terms of like maybe doing some home exercises or going to the
Yeah.
gym? What would you suggest in terms of that?
Yeah, my favorite exercise is strength training. And that's because strength training is going to build your muscles. And so muscles are going to burn more calories than fat. Muscles are also smaller than fat. And they also help with your metabolism. So strength training, it doesn't have to be like hardcore CrossFit strength training. It can just be using 5, 10 pound weights at home, maybe a little bit bigger for men, and working your muscles, getting those muscles to burn. So when you feel that burning in strength training, that means that those muscles are going to repair and rebuild. And that's where you're going to get all those benefits from strength training. I'm also a yoga teacher, so I'm a fan of doing yoga for strength training. So there's lots of different types of yoga, and a relaxing one can be great. But when we're talking about the exercise component here, it has to be a yoga where you're burning those muscles. So you're holding a pose longer, you're going in and out of it, and you're feeling that muscle burn. So those are my two favorite types of exercises to do that I think you can get the most benefit from. And I actually created, I have a fitness membership, and in there I have a yoga for men and then flexible, and women can do it too, but it's a great program where yoga is catered to men, and men are typically more inflexible. But I have some couples that really enjoy doing that together. And my husband did the recording with me, so they get to watch a guy in the video too. So that can be a great thing to do together.
Okay, awesome. Talk to me about well, let us know about breaking away from this all or nothing mindset in your health. Some people think that, hey, I'm not going to do anything, or some people just go to
Yeah.
one extreme or the next. Talk to us about, I don't know, probably any tips you have on what couples can do or people can do, singles as well, instead of
Yeah.
having that, oh, all or nothing as it relates to their health.
Yeah, so I mean, there's sort of like the nutrition aspect and the fitness, but we tend to think we need to, especially when it comes to diet, like follow some diet and be really extreme. We have to be keto or we have to do this other diet. And that's just not true. And the same thing with exercise. You don't have to follow some hardcore workout program or exercise for a long time. So I typically only work out 10 to 30 minutes a day. I might also walk or do something like that, but my exercise is only 10 to 30 minutes a day. So you can keep it really simple. And a lot of people, let's say they go on a vacation or they're having parties and they sort of think they're falling off track. If you just give yourself grace and you stick with it, and maybe you go to that party and you had cake, but afterwards you just hop right back on, that's okay because it's this overall picture that we need to look at. So, overall, what are we eating or how are we exercising or moving? Not just, one day or 1 week at a time. And knowing that these small things that you do over time are going to add up. that it doesn't have to be some big thing. And I think especially for those who have families, you want to eat and get your exercise in a way that works with your family. I know some people who have done like intermittent fasting and then they're not eating with their family and they don't really like that and they're feeling, left out. So, really finding a way to eat and live in a way that works, for your whole family and how your family functions um, is really important.
Yes, definitely. And I like that because we could get to the point where it's, something for me, but we don't consider, the persons in our family. We don't consider our children. We don't consider our spouse. And that could negatively impact our relationships. And we want to keep, yes, we want to be healthy physically, but we also want to be healthy socially, relationally. We want our families to be
Mhm.
healthy as well. And so even including them in whatever health regimen we're doing, whether it's nutrition or the actual physical exercise, would be something great as well. And I remember my kids saying, "Oh, we need to get our bicycles and we can probably go cycle as something." For us to do together, so we'll be together, but we'll still all be keeping fit, and
Mhm.
being healthy. And I remember us doing, exercises and going out, to the park and just doing our exercises or just taking a walk. And we kind of did that as a family. And so bonding takes place. And then of course we're still kind of like maintaining our bodies and staying physically fit. So that is definitely something we have to consider when we look at being
Mhm.
healthy. You don't want to be healthy and then, your spouse isn't or your children are and someone else is suffering from lack of health.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we want to definitely make sure that happens. what
Yeah.
what what tips would you give as it relates to um, increase in energy and probably motivation to thrive in life? What would you suggest couples and individuals do to really get that going for them?
Yeah, one good thing from a nutrition standpoint to do is making sure that you're stabilizing your blood sugar so you're not having those big uprising and crashes. So a way to do this is making sure that you're getting protein with each meal or snack and a little bit of healthy fat. So when you tend to eat like just carbs, you sort of can get this big spike in blood sugar. And usually after that comes that energy crash. So when you have a little bit of protein or healthy fat with it, it helps to stabilize those blood sugars and it also helps to stabilize your energy. And I also think another great way is just getting that little bit of exercise. So, especially if like in the afternoon, you tend to get tired, about a half an hour before that time, try getting up and doing like a 10 or 15-minute workout, stretching your body, just doing something where you get your body moving. And that can really help to sort of bring up that energy, especially if it's like that afternoon dip.
Okay, okay. So the push before the push.
Yeah, yeah. So you sort of want to do it before it happens because if you're already feeling that dip in energy, it's going to be a little bit harder to get moving and doing stuff. So doing it before that happens can be a great way.
Yes. How does this lack of energy, now we're talking about, um relating to each other in a relationship, how does this lack of energy affect probably couples in their marriage or their relationships? How does this impact that um
Yeah. Yeah,
into
I mean, one thing, obviously, we have 4 kids, so we experience this too. So, obviously, you have to be getting your sleep and, maybe dependent on the age of your kids, that can be extra hard. But really trying to make sure each of you are getting enough sleep because I think that can be really tricky. And if you're just not getting enough sleep, you're not going to have enough energy. And there's not much way to get around that besides having caffeine. Um, so maybe if you have little ones, figuring out some way where you can alternate each person getting more sleep. And some people just need more sleep than the other. So one of you might need more sleep, the other can go better on less sleep. And just learning that about each other and really trying to support each other. But coming together as a couple and having, these healthy meals, healthy snacks, healthy movement together, that you can live your life. And then also, I'm sure you guys probably deal with is, you know, tension in your marriage or relationship can be really draining to your energy. So if there is
Mhm.
something you're not dealing with, being able to talk that through with someone and getting help, can be really big. Because I know when I have something that's bothering me and I'm not dealing with it, it is a big energy drain. And that obviously happens a lot in relationships where you have that dynamic going on.
Yeah, definitely. That could definitely be a big problem because
Mhm.
even with lack of energy and relating to your spouse, um, just even being there present, for your spouse, and
Mhm.
then of course, as it relates to the bedroom or just being in that physical space, if you
Mhm.
don't have the energy, it could be very draining, and it could lead to other problems. Like when you say
Mhm.
when sex is a problem, when sex is the problem and everything is okay, it's like, oh, it's like 98% of the issue. But when everything, when other things are wrong and then sex is a problem, then it just seems like everything is a problem. So
Mhm.
sometimes we have to definitely, and like you said, help is need to get help. And I like to say help
Mhm.
is always available. So always look at getting help. Don't be afraid of getting help, because your relationship is worth it. Your body is worth it. We need to work on that. Sometimes we take a whole lot for granted, right? We take things for
Mhm.
granted. We don't work on things when we realize there's an issue, but we kind of like let it build up, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, let it build up. Like maybe today we did went and didn't exercise, and then tomorrow we
Mhm.
didn't, and then it just continues until before you know it's 6 months down the road and you haven't done any form of physical exercise. So what do you say to someone who has put it off, and maybe they're ready to start now? What advice would you give them? They want to start and get back,
Yeah.
or start to be physically healthy.
Yeah. I think the first one is to really take a little time digging at why you want to, because that's going to be your motivation piece when you have those hard days and when you fall off track.
Mm,
So, if you were asking yourself, like, why do I want to do this? And then you have your answer, ask yourself why again. So, ask yourself why quite a few times and making sure that you have a solid, deep reason. So, if it's just to lose weight or to get a smaller size, you got to keep asking why.
right.
So,
So
for
you're
a lot
asking
of
yourself,
people,
why am I doing this? Why am I going to exercise? Why am I getting up at 4:30 in the morning to go
yeah.
and exercise? Why am I eating healthy? Or why am I doing all of these things? Okay, hold on, let me pause. Hello, Monique. Thanks for joining us. She is a fitness expert, I should say, always making sure she's taking care of her body and not just physically, also what she puts in it. Thanks for joining us, Monique. Those of you who have questions, go ahead, put your questions and comments in the chat. I have with me today on Unique Couples Sunday Night Live conversation Michele Riechman from Bell
Belleville,
Belleville, yes,
Illinois. Yep.
Belleville, Illinois, who is with us today. And she is all about making sure that we keep physically healthy and fit. Okay, so she is a physical therapist and she works with clients and people to make sure that they are healthy, and couples as well, right? And couples as
Mhm.
well. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. So how healthy are you? Those of you who are watching, how healthy are you? Can we scale that? Can we scale that? Can we put a number? What would you put as a number, Michele, if we were to go and say, okay, how healthy are
Mm.
you? Let's do a number, and our guests can go ahead and put their numbers in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah, I think on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the healthiest, I'd probably give myself an 8 or a 9. I think there's always room for a little improvement. But for me, that would look like how much whole foods are you eating? So the more whole foods you're eating, the healthier that's going to be. And then also exercise wise, just getting consistent exercise. Again, I said I only work out 10 to 30 minutes a day. Um, but I'm consistently doing that most days. So those would be like my two markers there. And obviously making sure your blood pressure, cholesterol, all those markers are good too.
Awesome, awesome. So you heard her. Go ahead and make sure you are checking off those markers and making sure that you are healthy. And as it relates to relationships, how healthy are you? Are you communicating with your loved ones? Are you expressing your feelings? Are you allowing them to express their feelings? Are you taking time to be together, to share? Are you taking time to learn more about each other and share goals and do all of those things? Are you building trust? Are you doing activities that will help you stay connected? And if you're not doing those things, then why not start now? So you started with the why question, and I kind of jumped in there. So why are you doing this? Why are you exercising? You have to know your why, and that's the same thing as it
Mm-hmm.
relates to relationships. You have to know your why. Why are you doing this? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I guess we could backtrack. You were saying
Yeah.
what people can do. Yes.
Yeah, so really before you're starting an exercise or nutrition program, really thinking about why do I want to do this? And a lot of people it will start with losing weight or something like that. But go deeper, like why do I actually want to lose weight? And just keep digging a little deeper. Maybe you want to make it up the flight of stairs without being out of breath. I was there before. After 3 kids, I struggled and I was out of breath going up the stairs. I'm like, I can't be like this. I'm too young. Um, and that led me to I don't need to work out for a long time. I just need to be able to make it up the flight of stairs without feeling out of breath.
Hmm.
But really digging and making sure you have that solid why that is going to motivate you when you sort of get swayed off track or when things come up, and putting that why up somewhere. So maybe you're putting it in your bathroom, maybe near your desk or somewhere that you can see that. So when it does get hard, you can go back to that. And that's going to help you with that motivation along the way.
Definitely. Knowing your why is important, very important, and really getting behind that. So you ask your why and then you ask your why again.
Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Awesome. So if you are just starting out, you want to be healthy. What does healthy look like for you? What does healthy mean to you? Why do you want to do it? Make sure you know the answers to those questions, because then it will help you keep motivated for when you actually do um, kind of like want to stop or think of quitting. That
Hmm.
will help to kind of motivate you. I know one of the main things that I know I have done personally. And that would have been to, and my husband always likes to say that, when he does his training with CrossFit and all that stuff, they talk about, his coach, he says, talks about, I think it's the healthy body, or whatever, being physically fit starts with your stomach in terms of nutrition. It
Mm.
all starts with nutrition. So nutrition plays a very important part. So for me, it wasn't necessarily all of the physically, but I know one of the things that I tried to get a handle on, and that was what I was putting into my body,
Hmm.
making sure, nutritionally I was definitely healthy. But that is not the only way. We have to, I think, like you said earlier, have a well well-rounded balance
Hmm.
with what we're doing. So nutrition is important, physical health is important, and then of course we talk about mentally making sure that that is great too. What else could we make sure is added to make sure added to this balance to make sure that we are healthy
Yeah.
from head to toe? Yeah.
Yeah, and just like you were saying, there's a saying like you cannot outrun your fork. So you can exercise, but you cannot outrun what you're eating. So that nutrition piece is really important to do. And I think the other thing when we're thinking about health is more from a holistic point of view is just like that stress level. So making sure that you are sort of dealing with your stress and you have
Mm,
things and ways to handle your stress. So that could come back to walking or journaling, deep breathing. it's going to be different for everybody. But having those stress relieving things and making sure that you're doing them so you can show up your best for your family and for yourself or for your work or whatever it is. But having those tools in place or getting help if you need some help because you're struggling. Um, but that stress, I mean, really has a big impact on your body and the way we think. So the thoughts that we have about things, this could be the thoughts about exercise or health, the thoughts about your relationship, the thoughts about your work, all those impact our health and can release stress hormones. So making sure that we are sort of working through those so that we can be healthier overall.
Oh, definitely. So it's all about balance, and not just balance, but
Mm-hmm.
a healthy balance, and making sure that we are taking care of ourselves holistically, and that is
Mm-hmm.
very important, um, and something that we need to do. So, Michelle, any final words to couples who, and I get, our viewers, listeners, what advice would you give to, couples, those who are, who want to be healthy physically and in their marriage, as we wrap up?
Yeah.
And give your
Yeah, I think
final thoughts on that. Hmm.
yeah. I think especially if you're a couple and you can encourage each other, that is so powerful. So a lot of times I will have a female client start with me, and sometimes she will bring her husband on. And I think it's just so powerful when both people are working on being healthy together because it's really hard when someone is trying to get healthy and maybe the other person is bringing, junk food into the house that that person really enjoys. And they're almost like fighting this battle. So I think
Hmm.
when you can sort of start to get on the same page, you don't necessarily have to do exactly the same thing, but when you can start to really encourage each other. And a lot of times for couples, you may not be each other's accountability partner. So you can like encourage and support each other. But if you feel like you're holding each other accountable and that is putting a rift in your relationship, you might need outside accountability for
Mm.
that. So it doesn't put that stress on the relationship. But you can be there to support and encourage each other, but just not hold each other accountable like, hey, you didn't go for your walk or whatever you're supposed to do. But I think when you can come
It's
together as a couple, it's powerful.
it's almost like you're trying to parent your spouse, and that is not a comfortable feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're pushing me to do this, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And you're being pushed because your spouse. So that is really some great advice. Probably get someone outside of that, getting a help
Yeah.
from a coach or something to be your accountability partner, and not just say your spouse, because that
Mhm.
could add another um element of drama or
Yeah.
unhealthiness to your relationship. That is definitely something to consider. Okay, Michelle, so let our viewing audience know, what are you doing now and how they can connect with you
Yeah. Yeah. You
on
can
social
find
media.
me
Mhm.
on Instagram, or I have a Facebook group called the Healthy Mom Club. But I also have a special offer for the listeners here that you can use the code unique20 and you can save 20% off of my personal training for 3 months. And if you want to do it as a couple, just send me a private message because I offer a special for couples who want to do it together. So I do online personal training and health coaching. And I love working I work a lot with women, but I love working with couples because I think that is just so powerful. Like I was saying, when they sort of get on the same page and they can sort of like accelerate and support each other, and it's just a good environment.
Awesome. So this is your website.
Yep. Yep. So you can go to the website, and then under the Work With Me tab, there will be personal training, and you can find out more about there. And then just use the code unique20 to save 20% off for 3 months.
Awesome. Okay. So you heard it. Go ahead and grab that code and make sure that you are keeping healthy, not
Mhm.
just physically fit, but definitely socially, as well as you interact with your spouse and interact with other people, and emotionally as well, because a healthy body, a healthy mind, it all works together and you definitely want to um, show up as a healthy person. I just want to shout
Mhm.
out our special sponsors and supporters here to please the nail creation by Anna, Party with Serenity, Style Me Pretty, Build Your Best Life with Deborah D. Smith, Total Grace Solutions with Thaddeus and Amanda. Thank you all for supporting Unique Couples and our healthy marriage movement. And of course, everyone join the conversation that is taking place, all things marriage in and with Unique Couples. You can go ahead and see us in our free How to Strengthen Your Marriage Facebook group. That group is for married couples. And go ahead and sign up to receive our free 7 days of loving your spouse tracker. And you'll see the link in the description. And for those of you who missed out on our Being Me course, for those of you who are single, and married women have done it too, and are doing it, but just showing up as authentically you, join the wait list for our Being Me when we do our next round, because the session is definitely closed. So you can go ahead. And of course, we have our Marriage of Your Dreams course. So those of you who are married, you can go ahead and join us for that, for the Marriage of Your Dreams course, and connect with us for one-on-one marriage coaching. Okay, so connect with us and in our marriage club. Thank you all for joining us and for being a part of our Unique Couples community. Thanks for joining us and being a part. Go ahead and share, because your health matters, your relationship matters, and it all starts with you. And if you're showing up as the healthy person that you need to be in your relationship, in your marriage, then it could definitely help with your family. It could definitely help with society on a whole. Thanks for all of you who have joined. Remember to share. Thanks again, Michelle, for sharing and being a part of this conversation today. We are Unique Couples. We're building stronger couples, healthier marriages, and happier families. See you all later. Love you. Bye.